Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic host of Bachelor Nation News. Less than a week away from the next season of The Bachelor, and we're starting to hypothesize how this season may go. Are they going back to the good old days? Was Sean Lowe sent to save the franchise? They say the show is going back to the basics, and we'll have to see if they actually mean that. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals. Go back to the basics with me on Patreon for daily private live streams, patreon.com/Dave Neal. And today, like every day in the afternoon, we have Bachelor Rush Hour podcast. Not 27 downloads, 2,700 downloads per day. 2,700 of you guys are loyal Army power listeners, and I appreciate all of you guys and all the reviews that we're getting out there. Thank you all so much. Well, let's get into it. Here's what the Game of Roses podcast had to say while they joined Your Mom and Dad House about Sean Lowe coming back to the franchise for Zach's season of The Bachelor.
This is the most exciting time of year, The Bachelor preseason.
It really is.
It's the time where we have the most hope.
There's hope.
For the franchise, for
There's
the year.
a glisten in all of our eyes.
They're going to turn it around this year. Right before the stock market crashes. We're here going, stocks are looking good this year.
We still have a glimmer of hope. Our fingers are crossed, and we're waiting until, what about episode 3 before we start crying?
I mean, it could be episode 1. Not the night one curveball can sometimes be very, very bad. When they brought in Hannah Brown, for example, on Pilot Pete's season as the night one curveball, and you were just like,
no.
How could they do that to these players?
Well, also, I mean, we've seen little glimpses from previews that we see Victoria Fuller,
Yeah.
Tajwan,
Courtney
Robertson,
Yeah.
yes. And then,
Legends.
Sean Lowe, is going to be gunning for Jesse Palmer's spot the entire season.
I mean, is he going to be in the entire season?
I don't think so, but I think he's going to try.
He's at least scrubbing down Zach
can't be in
Shawcross
the
in the
shower.
shower. We saw that. He's at least helping Shawcross get clean before he has to do his dirty work this season. But
Most don't get in the shower. I think that's mistake number 1. They already got him in the shower.
They already
He's
got him
done.
in
When
the
I saw
shower.
Lowe, I was really hoping it was Rob Lowe, and I was like, oh this will be exciting this year. I'm like, fuck.
I mean, for my money, the fact that they're bringing Sean Lowe back, we call him the Golden Boy. He is, at least in terms of the process of The Bachelor, the most successful Bachelor that has ever existed. He is still married to his ring winner. They have kids, all this. He's the
That's
only
true.
Bachelor to have done that. I think bringing him in is a sign that the producers are trying to anoint this season to say this is going to be a serious season about romance. We're getting back to the process. Maybe they are going to take a step back from trying to psychologically and emotionally destroy all 30 people on the show this season.
I sure.
Gotta love the Game of Roses. Of course, you can listen to that full episode on Your Mom and Dad, their podcast. Go check that out. Formerly Chatty Broads. Now it's Your Mom and Dad. Becca Martinez pieced out, and now we've got, of course, the good folks known as Your Mom and Dad, and we appreciate them so much, and of course Game of Roses for all that they say about the show. So what's interesting is Sean Lowe's the golden boy, and this guy right here, it pisses him off. Have a listen.
Hate Bachelor Nation. No.
No, we don't hate Bachelor Nation.
And for those listening on the podcast, that's Ari Jr.
They watch The Bachelor anymore.
I would say we're very far removed from it now.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, there's only 3 bachelors that are still with somebody from their season, and it's just interesting that they never reach out.
I don't really think it's about that.
I mean, it's just funny that wouldn't they want to celebrate some success?
Yikes. Okay, so we already made a full video about that. Go check it out last week. But Ari says, wouldn't they want to celebrate some success? Well, it turns out they are by bringing on the best golden boy bachelor of all time, Sean Lowe and Catherine. Their relationship timeline, they've got children, baby. They've procreated. They've got fantasy suite receipts, as it were, that being their children. I mean, I'm assuming they didn't procreate in the fantasy suite, but one of these days, can we get a fantasy suite baby out there? Can we make it happen? And if you do procreate in the fantasy suite, I feel like you need to call the kid you need to name the kid Fantasy. Right, Fanta? I don't know. Okay, either way, so there they are. This was in 2013. A full 10 years later, the couple's journey began when season 17 debuted. So anyway, it was a connection from the start. They got engaged. Can you believe it? I said yes. And then there they are doing their thing, walking down the aisle. They tied the knot in a live television wedding at the Four Seasons Resort, Biltmore in Santa Barbara, California. The nuptials were officiated by Sean's father, J. Lowe. Can you imagine that? This really was the golden age of Bachelor. So they're saying, how do we get back to this? How do we get back to a basic love story that's not wrought with drama? And that's going to be the question. So people are wondering, why is Sean Lowe in the trailer? And as mentioned by the Game of Roses squadrant, they said, of course, it's not just Sean Lowe, Tajwan, and you've got Victoria Fuller will be there. They're just going to be there to be guest hosts or whatever. But anyway, Sean Lowe was on Bachelor Happy Hour today, not Bachelor Rush Hour, Bachelor Happy Hour, the 4-star rated Bachelor Happy Hour. Here's what he had to say about getting the show back on the right track.
So Sean, I'm sure when you went in, it was probably we keep saying the show's going back to the basics. And I would love to pick your brain on this, but when you went in to meet with Zach, was it focused more on that love, finding the right partner for you, for your life, and vice versa?
So when I met with Zach, it was more of just hey, this is about to be crazy. You think you're prepared, but you really don't know. You don't know what you're walking into, and it will be so surreal, and it's going to be nuts. And then the hardest part will probably be after the cameras stop rolling. And like you said, the press is about to start and it's a whirlwind, right? Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to really just prepare him mentally for all of that. And I also wanted to be realistic with him. Hey, I know you're filming a TV show and the goal is to hopefully find love. But I also wanted to tell him hey, it's okay if that didn't happen. There's a chance you could meet 25 wonderful women, but one of them might not be a match for you. And that's okay to walk away from all this and say, hey, I gave it a try. I had a great experience once in a lifetime, but it didn't work out for me. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted Zach to know, don't make this harder than it really needs to be, because it is, if you can just relax and have fun with it, it's an amazing opportunity to travel the world and do things that you would never do otherwise. It's so much fun. So just enjoy every moment of it and relax, don't worry about all.
Again, and this is no shade towards Sean Lowe, but he really existed in a different world for Bachelor, one in which there wasn't scrutiny over every tweet you made, everything you did or said in the past, and this and that. So he saw it when the lead of the show what really did reap the benefits of the exposure and some of the lifestyle that came with it, without the negative toxicity that came with pretty much the 24-hour news cycle, which came with the nonstop, if there's no content, let's just ruffle some feathers type of deal. So he has, as one of 3 of, 3 dozen, right? He's one of 3 former bachelors that is still with their partner. Who do we have? We've got Ari and Matt James. Now, Matt James and Rachel Kirkconnell not engaged. Am I missing somebody? Is there somebody else out there? I'm not too sure. So either way, he's got that sort of bias that exists with someone who it worked out well for, which is fine. Always be optimistic going into it.
The other crap.
Truly.
Yeah.
Best advice right there. Couldn't have said it better myself.
I love that you said don't worry about all the other crap. I'm actually reading a book where at one part this woman is so caught up in finding the right job and figuring herself out in life, and she's putting so much pressure on what other people are thinking of her. And basically the conclusion is no one effing cares. People want you to succeed and be happy in whatever way, shape, or form that is. And I was this is a great bit of advice that I think everyone could use at any point in their life. So when you went in to meet with him.
I agree. First of all, nobody cares. And, part of my life, I always look at what's my core being? What am I trying to do? And one of the things I'm trying to do is to dance like nobody's watching. That phrase. Just one of the core things I want to do is just get back. I have this imprint that people give two shits about me. And I think we all have that to an extent. And part of what's beautiful about children playing is that they just can laugh and have fun and just be so in the moment. And I feel as adults, we strip that joy away, and remembering no one cares. No one's thinking about you. Now, of course, when you're the lead of a show, every single weird thing, McKenna's oh yeah, right, they made fun of my face nonstop. Everyone, Justin from Katie Thurston's season with his funny faces. Everyone, sure, they're going to be under the microscope, but in the end, when you're going out and getting a Starbucks, everyone's just worrying about their own daily life. So all you can do is take care of you. So I actually like that right there. But the question remains, will Sean help save the day? Here's what Jesse had to say with regards to getting back to the basics.
What to expect from Zach's upcoming season?
Yeah. I would say that Zach's season is a bit of a throwback season in the sense that this is really about the love story. It's not so much about the drama. And I know in some past seasons, drama takes over. And on every season of Bachelor, there is going to be drama. That's just something you can't avoid. But this season really is less about that. And it's really more about the love story and about Zach trying to find his person. He's really, really intentional. I think one of the things that I was so impressed with watching Zach is that he really made a point to talk to everybody. And I know when I was the Bachelor, group date, rose ceremony. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll talk to everybody. And then things happen and there's drama and someone, can I steal you for a second? And all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I've only spoken to literally half the people. No wonder everybody's upset. Zach made a point of getting time with every single woman, virtually every day.
Now, of course, one of the spoilers, which again, don't worry, this isn't I'm not going to share any names here, but one of the spoilers from Reality Steve said that Zach actually kicked somebody out because they tried to interrupt too many times. Now, whether that is what actually happened, we'll have to wait and see. Next week, I'll be doing live streams, 7 p.m. East Coast, 4 p.m. Pacific. Before the episode, we'll do a nice 1 hour pre-party live stream. Get your charcuterie boards ready. Get your roses all cut and stocked, whatever. Put your baby's breath together, and then get ready for that. Then afterwards, we'll do an East Coast after show live stream as well. A lot of stuff going on in my world. I've got a show tonight. Actually, I believe in Culver City. So if you're in Los Angeles, go to my Instagram at @tneals to see where that free show is tonight. Plus, stand-up tickets for my show with Katie, February 15th, are on sale. Link in the comment section for that. And all the other ways you can stay in touch, just go to my Instagram or Patreon, and Bachelor Rush Hour every afternoon. All right, folks, that's it for me. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.